at LowLandLions.
Yeah, so Callista comes through. This wasn't touched at all pretty much by LowLandLions. And then Ari will come in again. So identical from the Tuesday's games from Reason Gaming coming in here. And then that will be responded by Lissandra from LowLandLions as their last ban.
LowLandLions are going for something a little bit different here. They know that they kind of have to ban Lissandra here because maybe they're looking to pick something up. Generally at this kind of stage, either Nidalee or Rek'Sai is going to be available. Yeah. And generally you'll see a team take them first pick just for their strength out of the jungle because everybody else will be on second tier, or you can scrap that because Reason say we'll leave both junglers available, we'll give you one, we'll take the other.
So there's less impact on the top lane as well, so Morsu has the pick of the litter when it comes to what he wants in top lane and need the jungle for Kyrie. Like, they have so many options here.
One option we've seen commonly out of Europe.
Okay, there's Nidalee.
There's the Nidalee. I was going to say one option that we've seen fairly often is you pick the Morgana so that you can look to flex that Morgana, see exactly where you want to put it. She's been a very strong champion, but with the Nidalee locked in, there's no rush now for Reason to pick that Rek'Sai. They really know that they can pick that up later down the draft and see exactly what they want. That really did actually get locked in out by Kuban. So options here for LowLandLions. They could pick something that Morsu doesn't like to play, like a Maokai, or maybe even something like a Malphite to neutralize the Aurelia, or they could go for something like a carry. The Jax is available for LowLandLions if they wanted to pick it.
And
so
the
and the Hecarim. That's actually there's a lot still available that's in Morsu's playbook that he hasn't picked. The Fiora is available as well, but I don't see that one coming out.
Okay, so they're hovering the Jax, but as you mentioned, there's lots of places he can go in this one. Where else do we think that LowLandLions is going to start putting some priority? Because they played the LeBlanc yesterday. He did well, but obviously he didn't win them the game. So they have that. They do not have that available to them in this game. So they will pick up the Jax for the top lane. So we will see him on a more carry top laner more than anything. And then we do have the Grey as just a safe AD carry. We've already had the Corki locked in.
Yeah, we have indeed. Pretty safe there out of Hybrid down in that bottom lane. But Hybrid's a player that, honestly, we haven't seen too much out of. When you just take all things considered. We've been talking a lot more about Kozku, about Morsu, and even Kyrie out of the jungle. That bottom lane for LowLandLions has been quite quiet. So I'm looking to see what they can do here with this bottom lane Graves. Over on Reason, I'm expecting them to lock in that Rek'Sai. There we go. And Morgana support coming out here for Libic. So a little bit different. Libic normally likes his engaged supports. He likes his Leonas and his he's played Alistar in the past as well. Also has played Braum, which was available, so I'm a little bit surprised, although Braum Corki, not the best synergy in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, we've spoken about how Celebs delivered these constant scorelines every single week, so they have a little bit of appeal here with the Morgana to just keep them away from that kind of like quieter AD carry who just keeps on turning up these stats. And then we may even see that Braum you're talking about, who Libic has picked up himself, maybe going to Visibility here. And they also have their mid lane to go, so it depends what they want. But they do lock both of those in. So there's the Braum for Visibility. We'll be trying to help out that Hybrid on Graves, and then it will be the Cassiopeia for mid lane for Kozku.
So what could Reason look for here? They're looking for a mid laner. They could potentially look to do a double AD composition, but TakeFun likes to play assassins more than anything. However, pretty much all of the assassins are banned. Zed gone, Ari gone, LeBlanc. What's next in his playbook? Reason have defaulted to more utility mid laners, more like a, you know, something like an Orianna or a Lulu, something that has that better scaling, because TakeFun's not the kind of Xerath player that wants to sit back. He kind of wants to at least be involved, even if it's just shields and the ultimate out of a Lulu. On the other side, LowLandLions have really good scaling in this composition with pretty good engage as well. You look at the Cassiopeia and the Jax between them. Nidalee, yes, she has a bit of a dip in the mid game, but there's a lot of poke damage coming out here, and Graves Braum is going to be very good at blowing somebody up. So LowLandLions have a lot of potential if they drag it to the late game.
You do, and Reason Gaming, and they waited a while with their mid lane pick. I mean, the banning phase was basically anti-TakeFun, so they had a long ways to go to figure out what they wanted. But yeah, they had the Lulu come in, and most likely that will go into the mid lane for TakeFun. Does feel like out of his comfort zone because it's not an assassin, and it will fulfill a different role in the team. So
it will.
I want to see what Reason Gaming do with this, because if LowLandLions are to upset them here, they've definitely put them off kilter, at least in the mid lane.
Yeah, indeed. But one thing that Reason are going to do from this, or should be doing, doing with this composition is they have a very definitive power spike, and that is the Irelia Triforce, the Corki Triforce, Lulu once she gets an item.
Yeah.
As soon as you're at that point, Reason Gaming going to be very scary against this Lowland Lions squad that has a Jax which needs to scale, a Cassiopeia who's okay but is very dependent on you've got to get that set up for the ult, and a Nidalee that has a power dip in the mid game. So Lowland Lions, if they fall behind, they're going to have to drag this very late or get ahead early on to secure themselves a win. Yeah,
we really need to pay attention to that as we get into the game. I mean, like at that specific time when they start hitting those power spikes, it depends on the early game to see how Lowland Lions will deal with this one. So maybe the picks and bans as how they've played it will be enough to do so, but we'll see as we get into this one. Remember to keep your eyes peeled though for standout plays. If you see one, tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag #ChallengerBigPlays, and you can see your tweet on the show.
You may very well do indeed. I wonder if there's going to be some Challenger big plays. Maybe we'll get, I don't know, Cassiopeia ult into Jax getting a Quadra. Yeah. If that happens now, I'm going to be quite proud
the prophet,
of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, pretty much every week I look at Senkux, and even if he loses the game, he'll do something amazing. Like, he'll usually get ahead. Of course, we saw the Victor yesterday. He had some great double kills, great ultimates, and did a lot of damage and had some pretty good plays. So, you know, he's definitely a person to look out for if you're looking to get your tweets in. But yeah, we definitely could see something this lane, this game rather. Cassiopeia, those big plays with the flash ults.
Yes, indeed. Could very well see those, but there's going to be so much damage coming out of the top lane as well that we cannot ignore that. Irelia and Jax, those are two champions that just want to kind of swap places when it comes to team fights. Irelia wants in, Jax wants in. Let's trade and see who does more damage to the back line and see exactly who comes out ahead, because this should be a fun one to watch, actually.
Yeah,
from how close yesterday was, I am really looking forward to this game. Yeah,
well, we are going to get into game and see how exciting it is as Lowland Lions will be now onto the blue side here. He'll be spawning onto the Rift. Here comes Morsu. Very interesting, this top lane, actually. It's back to Season 2 with Jax and Irelia. Lots of changes since then, though. And we'll see how they interact on the battlefield. As you can see, Reason Gaming up on the red-hand side this time around. And what can they do? What will be the early game players? Because we've already had a lane swap today from Origin. Will Reason Gaming try to do something similar? They have the Corki, they have the Morgana. Sometimes we do see the Corki go for those lane swaps away from the difficult lane that could be the Graves and the Braum. Great Englando.
Well, I mean, there's one thing that both of these top laners kind of struggle with, and that's sitting in a 1v2. Both of them are melee, so you have to kind of sit in range to get the experience. But, you know, they can go around with the jungler if they were looking to set it up, and Reason Gaming perhaps are looking to put Irelia down in that 1v2 in the bottom lane, but no real deep vision. This is pretty much just a blind swap from both of these teams, so they feel like they can put Morsu so far behind that Reason Gaming can, you know, take this game from it. Yeah, we'll see if Kuban maybe even tried to show his face to Kyrie. I saw he went through there to maybe just be like, hey, I'm top lane, we're not going for a lane swap, but he actually goes back into his jungle there, so Kyrie will just be sitting in the jungle. Yeah, as you mentioned, no one going for this early aggression. We'd actually see more wards coming out from Reason Gaming just down the line and river, keeping those jungle entrances, and pretty much the same from Lowland Lions, except on the bottom side, there comes the ward from Kyrie. And Libic will be sitting in this bush here, maybe trying to set up the wave as well by sitting in that bush, and that means Celevar can help out with Kuban. Both top laners looking to take a camp for themselves to begin this one. And you can see that Libic is there to set up a freeze, so they're not going to wait and hide and wait for somebody to come into the lane. So we'll see whether Reason can actually get this freeze off and punish Morsu, because Celevar, is Celevar taking experience on this? No, he's actually just out of range to get any experience for the little ones. So they're giving it all over to Kuban for now, who is going to drop fairly low here, but it's a good start for Kuban. How is Morsu doing? Because he's soloing down Raptors at the same time. Oh, he's got him. He is now at level 2. And what does he choose to do from here? Does he follow through with Kyrie? Does he go to top lane? He's got a couple options available to him. And it's really important with this early game on who gets ahead. Irelia, Kuban does try to go for that. Just standard play, goes into the bot lane and will be going for the 1 versus 2. But the top lane's being set up. We know that for certain. Has the bot lane been set up? Yeah, it sort of looks, yeah, it's one of the problems they've got here is Kuban has managed to get himself into the lane. I actually think this is going to start perhaps, I think it's going to push in towards Kuban ever so slightly by about a minion or two. This hasn't really lined up right for LowLandLions. They're going to have to aggress onto Kuban.
Well, they'll get the concussive blows there. The stun and the extra damage pushes them back to turret, but with that minion wave coming in eventually at some point in the near future, then hopefully Kuban can get some of that CS back. Maybe Kyrie will head into the bot side and maybe try and zone away from that.
One thing, though, that has worked out for a reason is Kuban got a ward when he went back, so they're going to spot Nidalee coming in for this gank path, and between Zayu being buried and having that tremor sense, and Kuban's ward, they know exactly what is coming here. LowLandLions have no idea that Zayu is already in this bush. They could go on Kyrie here and maybe get an early kill. Kyrie senses that something's up, though, because Kuban went disappearing.
Oh, hello. Jump over the wall. We'll get the pounce away from danger. And Spear comes through, doesn't tag either of them, so they're going to be pretty healthy to defend this turret. And what it did mean was Kuban was not able to CS under turret, but he did manage to get a lot of that experience. So they block the 3 versus 1 play, and Kuban will be fairly healthy in the bot lane.
Jax is getting zoned away, so he's actually on his way to the mid lane here because Take Fun is fairly far up in the lane. A leap strike into counter strike could be enough here to burn a flash.
There's a counter strike, and Take Fun still has his flash. Takes so much damage from those
flash
twin fight. The flash from both of them. Kotsky going underneath the turret, takes 2 tower shots. Kuban finds Kyrie in the bottom jungle here. He'll be backing away. Doesn't have any way to close the gap again. Managed to juke out of the way of the javelin toss, so he'll not be hunted down. Zayu as well, just zoning away the Prey Seekers, playing dodgeball here. And the minion wave has been reset by LowLandLions in the bot lane, so they should be able to keep Kuban away from it. Currently 7 CS to 4 in the top lane totals.
Libic needs to go back to top lane as soon as possible, because this is in a great position here for Corki to look to set up a freeze here and zone Jax away, but he is going to need Libic because this one-on-one isn't too difficult. The Morsu can't sit in it. So as soon as Libic gets back up there, they can zone the Jax, who is just level 3. That's slightly unfortunate that they let him get that, because look, Morsu content with no Morgana to sit here, but he's only got a matter of time because Morgana is in the river. Flash forced already. Dark Binding could really lock him down.
Libic has the flash as well. He also has exhaust, but the minion wave will cut him off, so they can't get the kill there. Morsu did preemptively flash, but it's enough to get him away from danger. Kyrie dropping low in the jungle will be flashing at red, but I believe he's just taking on the Merc Wolves, and apparently he has come out ahead. Good job, Kyrie.
Oh man, that's so unfortunate for Libic. He kind of moved around their own jungle a little bit and didn't go straight back to lane. If he had, that could have been very detrimental to LowLandLions. The fact of the matter is, Morsu got himself a little bit of experience and got himself some farm here. Yes, Kuban is still ahead, but they need to shut Morsu out of this game. They cannot let him get into it.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. He's got the double Doran's a blade, so he might be looking to even roam again into the mid lane. But obviously, late game Jax is always something we have to think of. Now, also taking a look at the rest of the item build, Kyrie has gone for the tier here, so presumably he'll go for the Archangel build that some Nidalees have been opting for.
But this is quite a greedy build, actually, when you look at it. Yes, it's going to stack the tier up faster, but he hasn't opted for a jungle item, so he's not going to get any of the benefits, like the increased clear time, the increased helping ganks from the Chilling Smite, no extra damage from skirmishes, so he's banking on the fact that he's not going to need any of it. And we know that Nidalee is a very good jungler when it comes to clear and sustain. Her ganks, you need to hit the spear, so this is just a bit of a gamble that Kyrie's trying to get himself into the game earlier. By reducing that power dip in the mid game, he's going to have a lot more mana earlier on. It just depends whether Reason Gaming can exploit Kyrie's little bit less sustain through the jungle.
So after all of the shenanigans in the earlier game, we take a look at the CS, and Kotsky is basically even in the mid lane despite the over-aggression we saw. Well, not over-aggression, but lots of aggression in the mid lane, I should say. Visibility in the bot lane also basically equal with Celever, as we just saw the minion wave go in. So overall, we have very similar totals. It's really just the Kuban and Morsu differential of the 26 CS to 12 that is the main factor in this game. And, well, we have spoken about the top lane. There was a lot of focus yesterday on the bans, a lot of focus today as well in Champion Select. But, however, Zayu has been caught out in the jungle here. Kyrie will be keeping up the chase. Trying to land that spear. Great sidestep by Zayu. Hybrid not able to get in range with the Winter's Bite. And they'll head back.
And if Kyrie... I'm going to say it. If Kyrie had Chilling Smite, they probably would have got the flash there from Zayu. So Kyrie just has to make this tier pay off. the fact that he's giving up this pressure early has to result in something in the mid-game earlier, and we've got to watch for that as this game goes through, because that should have been more punishment onto Zayu there than it actually ended up being.
Well, he said it before the game, and it looks like it's ringing true in this one, as CosQ has gone for his tier, so they are just trying to opt towards a later game for LowLandLions, with the Jax trying to scale up. He is behind in the early game. Mid lane trying to stack up the tier, as is Kyrie. So can they drag it out? That's the question. So far the game is dead even, so that is signs of, yes, they can.
There's been a lot of pressure up onto Morsu in that top lane as well when you look at it. He is still behind on CS. He's getting experience, though not quite level 6, even though Kubon is. And Kubon's actually shoving quite hard here down into this bottom lane. You saw him clearing the wave out with his Q and then his ultimate fairly early on, which is a little bit risky. But they've got decent wards. They've got a pink ward up in River. They've got a ward lower down as well. So they know that Kyrie has been pushed back into his own jungle. So they know there's no jungle pressure. And it allows Kubon to play a little bit more greedy in that bottom lane.
Yeah, we haven't spoken a whole lot about the mid lane because everything's been happening in the side lanes. But Takefun, of course, on this pick here that he's maybe not as comfortable with as his assassins, but he's holding his own against CosQ. As I say that, he's taking a bunch of damage from those twin fangs and has been bullied around for the last couple of minutes. Is sitting around 10 CS behind.
CosQ's trying to pressure out Takefun's ult here. He's not actually looking to go aggressive. The moment he will go aggressive is if he can get a good ult onto Takefun before he can cast his ultimate and then burst him down. It's kind of risky though, because the duration of the stun isn't that long enough. So if CosQ can get the ult out of Takefun without using his ult, it's a free kill in the lane earlier, in a minute or so down the line. So it's very smart out of CosQ, but he's pushed up.
Oh, nice tunnel into the flash, and we'll get the stun onto both of them here. CosQ turns around with the damage and lands the autos and the ignite. Is it going to be enough? Ooh. That is the wild growth from Takefun. Keeps him alive. That is a kill there in the mid lane, but they burn a lot for it. 2 summoners plus the ignite plus the ultimate from the mid lane of Takefun.
It was a really nice ult out of CosQ to hold both of them. However, you can see the importance of the Lulu ultimate in response to the Cassiopeia damage. Rek'Sai ult is going to bring him into the topside jungle. This could, start a fight up here, but let's take stock. LowLandLions taking themselves the bottom turret. They finally got that time to force Kubon out of the lane, but you saw the vote. Yeah. The fans think
almost
it's
50-50,
very easy, very even, very, very close between these two teams, and the skill level is as well.
Yeah, that's, I agree, because the last game we saw was actually very close. It was really just down to who managed to get the upper hand in one team fight, and that cascaded out of control. Morsu maybe trying to aggress here. Great binding from Lebe, and that means Morsu was in place for a long time, takes so much damage from that top lane. Cairo will be looking to return the damage with the Javelin, and that tunnel is also there. Zayu will recover some health with his passive there. And they do clear up the rest of the minions. That means Morsu is out of action, but he does have the teleport. If they can get the teleport off him, they'll have the teleport advantage.
They will indeed, and Reason are going to get this turret, though. And they are going to let it deny first, which is very important, because, again, against the Jax, you do not want to give him free farm, and it didn't deny the full wave, it denied a cannon wave, which is, it's a nice little victory against the Jax, but it's not exactly what you want. So you can see that Celiva has actually had to stay there and shove it, but Jax is already there. He's back into the lane. He's going to get that experience, get that free farm. It's going to start catching him back up to Kubon.
Yeah, and Kubon's pretty much doing the same thing in the bot lane, but I believe it is actually pushing towards the bot lane of LowLandLions. That's why Visibility is also there. So we do have the AD carries going up against those top laners, and it is just a matter of who gets the more farm and who's able to control the map and who's needed where. CosQ in the mid lane, still out-farming Takefun, but only by a little. And now Dragon looks to be on the horizon for these two teams. 12 minutes into this one. The warding coverage, not too bad. Looks like they're trying to fight over it. The blue buff has been timed out for Reason Gaming, so they're able to pick up their own here and maybe time it for the Dragon. And now they will head into the river and try and get some wards down.
To give you an idea of how this tier is going to work out, it's already half stacked for Kyrie. It's 375 already. We're only 12 minutes into the game. Regularly, a jungle Nidalee would not be stacking this at anywhere near this rate.
Yeah.
And that is going to work out very well if it doesn't get punished. Oh,
the jump over the wall. He gets the steal, but he may pay with his life, though. Down he goes. The consolation prize from Reason Gaming, but taking a page out of Diamond's book from the LTS, Kyrie over the wall gets the steal of Nidalee.
Again, the increased damage. Everything here is going to be building towards LowLandLions' later game composition. This helps them now against Reason Gaming. They only give 1 for the Dragon. Great steal there.
Yeah, really nice. So not only are they scaling really well, they'll have the Dragon that will delay Reason Gaming getting ahead in this game. Zayu and Celever will maybe be able to take the bottom turret alongside Lebic.
Gotta watch for a teleport
hybrid
here, though.
Coming in from the top side. Teleport is available for Morsu and not Kuban, so LowLandLions have the teleport advantage. Facilities coming in here, looking maybe for this teleport to come in. Hybrid takes so much damage, he'll have to jump back, use a stand behind me to get to a minion. But they do repel the assault in the bottom lane. Tremor Sense will see Kyrie out, and he does head into that lane. Bottom turret is still standing, though, for LowLandLions. That's the main thing.
Yeah, it did just get saved just in time. That was, I could see Morsu on the map. He was looking for a spot to teleport down to his bottom lane. The wards weren't quite in place, though, for LowLandLions to get a flank, and Jack's kind of just teleporting in front wouldn't really do too much. They knew they had the advantage, and Jax is on the way to build that Blade of the Ruined King, as is Irelia for the Trinity Force, but both are quite far off, actually. You look at Irelia has actually opted for 2 halves of 2 different parts.
Yeah.
Going towards that Sheen and the Zeal both at the same time. So neither of them really have that massive amount of damage right now that either team needs them to fight with, but Jax is going to be able to teleport in and stun, get a bit of damage from his abilities, get that empowered strike off as well. It's enough during a fight that LowLandLions can use that if they get that teleport advantage.
Well, you spoke in Champion Select about the potential power spikes in the mid game with Reason Gaming. They've started to hit some of those, maybe not on the Irelia, but in the mid lane we do have now the Morella Nomcon and a Neasley Large Rod for the Take Fun, and Celever with his Trinity Force. So they're in a pretty good spot themselves, just need everyone to get onto the same page.
Yeah, they do indeed, but that the Triforce not being near completed for Irelia yet is a little bit problematic, or would be a little bit problematic if there was a dragon still on the map.
Yeah.
I normally would say luckily for Reason, but they did just have it stolen away, so I guess unluckily for Reason, they don't have another attempt at that for a little amount of time, but it allows Irelia to have that Trinity Force. She will have it completed before the next dragon fight.
So Zayu uses ultimate to get into around the crab area in the bottom dragon and just go for the invade, try and get some aggressive vision down. Now they rotate towards the middle lane. And LowLandLions, can they try and disrupt this push? Maybe not, because Kyrie gets bound by Livic, once again landing a perfect binding. He'll get the Soul Shackles onto Hybrid. Does Take Fun have the damage? He'll flash away. Koskyu now comes into the fight. He has been exhausted. Now he follows up with the Twin Fangs, gets the damage down, and picks up the kill. Will return with the ultimate as well. Only onto the backside of Take Fun. Will not get the stun. Oh, there's a slow. Flashes forwards into the Twin Fang. Not quite enough damage, but now Zayu is under attack. He has his flash if he needs it. He'll actually borrow back into the fight onto Hybrid. Does he have the damage? No, he does not. Turn around. Once again, Koskyu with his E will pick up that kill. Kuba now comes into the fight. This is so delayed, but Wowo auto attack from the tower. He picks up the kill. A 2 for 2, a double kill for Koskyu. Basically the one-man army against Reason Gaming.
Careful, because Kyrie is back. This was such an extended fight here that if Reason sit for the tower... Ooh, my goodness, that could have been the end of Take Fun.
He'll jump on Celever regardless. Take Fun's basically out of mana. He doesn't have any of his summoners or his ultimate. Kyrie jumps onto Celever, looks for the takedown. It's not enough damage. He goes down, but so does Nidalee. Facility comes into the fight. He'll pick up the kill onto Take Fun, who was still alive in the mid lane. That was extended.
What a crazy, scrappy fight here in this mid lane. It was all for the mid lane towers. Finally, Kuban managed to join the fight. He and Celever had to run up to the mid lane after Koskyu had dealt the damage. And at that point, Celever and Kuban thought they had free range. Kyrie, right back into the fight, had to just run down the middle lane, you know, using that Cougar form to his advantage as well, leaping all the way. And they managed to clean up the fight. The fight between the two, if I'm not mistaken, is roughly even. However, Morsu at the same time took top tower. So the overall global gold swing The swing from that fight goes to LowLandLions. They're still a little bit behind, but this is every bit as close as we were expecting this game to be.
Yeah, it's been dead even, and after that trade, it's still pretty much even when you take a look at the whole game as a whole. Yeah, as you mentioned, slightly behind, but 200 gold is pretty much nothing at this stage. Both of the turrets, they have two turrets aside with one dragon, yeah. So LowLandLions are, if not even, maybe even a little ahead as a later of the... Yes, because as the game goes on, the percent extra AD and AP is going to be even better for LowLandLions.
And I'm still watching this counter ticking up here on the Tear of the Goddess on Kyrie for Nidalee. It's at 645 right now out of 750. This is going to be very quick, even from mid lane standard. Taking a look at the Cassiopeia, it's only at 550 for Cass. He's 100 stacks ahead of his mid laner who would normally build a Tear of the Goddess. This is paying off and paying dividends for Kyrie here.
Yeah, so unless Reason Gaming have been keeping track of this, this is going to hit them when they least expect it. Yeah, you have your power spikes with your items. Now the Trinity Force has been completed by Kuban, but are they paying attention to Kyrie's power spike? We will maybe get the Seraph's Embrace before they realize it.
One thing that it has meant is Kyrie has died a few times. He hasn't been going the Rod of Ages for the extra tankiness. He hasn't got any other items that is allowing him to survive. So is Kyrie giving away too many kills now so that it's not a useful item later when they get there? Because this late game comp out of LowLandLions is going to be very difficult to shut down.
Well, Dragon is now on the agenda for the two teams. Crab has been slain by Reason Gaming, so they'll have a slight control over the area. Lots of wards from both teams. Winter's Bite and Javelins will keep them at range using the area denial of their composition. Now they look to try and siege in the mid lane.
But this is the time for Reason to fight. Double Trinity Force has been completed. BF Sword onto Celiva as well. If there was ever a time for Reason's comp to be at its prime, it's within this next 2 to 3 minutes for a team fight.
It's about trying to get into a team fight, though, because they don't have real solid initiation unless they have a Zayu burrowing into a flash, and he doesn't have flash at the moment. And Take Fun, he has his ultimate, but all the conditions aren't quite right for them. So, yeah, in a couple of minutes, but they have actually been taking the Dragon. Reason Gaming kind of just caught LowLandLions off guard as they're trying to push the middle lane, and they might just get the engage on the back of that as well. Visibility has been caught off to the side. Good ultimate by Cosq. However, only lands onto Kuban as his back is turned. Hybrid will go down. Take Fun is still keeping up the chase. Lots of damage from the Glitter Lance, but does also have the knock. It was the Ignite, in fact. It wasn't the Grievous Wounds, maybe even both, but they get the 1 kill and the Dragon, so they even up the Dragons and kind of just outplayed LowLandLions when they're trying to push the mid lane.
Yeah, and they knew between Celiva and his damage and Rek'Sai even can solo Dragon. It's fairly slow, but with a Corki that had Triforce and a BF Sword at that point, that Dragon is going to die fairly quickly this early on, and Reason knew they could just run defense around it, but man, this game is going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And it's going to be another turret for Reason Gaming here, as they're looking to push it down. Well, should be.
I want to say this is... Yeah, they get it. Okay, so I want to say this is an advantage for Reason Gaming, but no doubt LowLandLions will respond if they manage to get a pick. Zai was actually in their jungle, so might have been a chance for them to catch him out, but he was able to run away with their Raptors. Kyrie and Cosq donate over the blue buff for the constant spam from Cassiopeia. And Zayo will do the same on his own buff. So now the teams do back off and do the kind of housekeeping, just clear out their jungles and do everything they can. Go back and buy some items. Take Fun has now picked up his Death Cap as well with the Morellonomicon, sitting on only tier 1 boots. And there's the Seraph's Embrace as well from Cosq. He's got that completed. And now just waiting for Kyrie to follow suit.
750, 750.
He's
Kyrie's
ready.
tier is fully stacked. It's just a case of gold. But again, it's been very greedy. And I know I'm probably a broken record, but when we see something like this, I do like to keep track of how quickly it's stacking up.
Yeah.
Because, ooh, man, that is the
Case
danger.
in point.
Exactly, because Kyrie has no way to survive through damage until that Seraph's is completed and he can build further items. He's at level 10 as well, so, you know, it doesn't even have a lot of that base resistance and health just to survive through it, so Kyrie is in a little bit of a tricky spot.
So, let me pose this question to you. So, with Reason Gaming, they have their power spikes right now, they have the Trinity Forces, they have the Death Caps. But we also have LowLandLions who have gone for those early tiers. They also have, a Seraph's Embrace on the horizon for them. As soon as that's completed and Jax also catches up with the team, who is going to come out ahead when we see a full-on clash? Because we've had a couple so far around objectives like the Dragon, but both of these guys are approaching power spikes and getting to the optimum point.
It ties back to your point about Reason's engage, or lack thereof. If Reason can get a binding into a Morgana ult on somebody that's caught out away from the team, then by all means Reason can still compete in these team fights. They've still got maybe another 10 minutes before this comp really takes over from LowLandLions. These next few fights are going to be crucial, because if LowLandLions take them, they are very quickly going to go from being a team that is waiting to a team that is destroying your base already. So it's all on the engage. It's all on the Braum disengage as well here out of LowLandLions. Braum and Cassiopeia alone can shut down so much of what Reason Gaming can do, but it's all in the execution.
Okay, we'll see if that goes how we feel like it will do. Kyrie, low mana, low health, will be able to clear out the minion wave. Reason Gaming taking the initiative here. They're the ones going from turret to turret, side to side, trying to get an advantage. Looks like they may have just gotten the best of LowLandLions as they move to the mid lane and take the inner turret.
This is what they have to do, but they also have to stop Morsu. He is pushing on his own. So it's a question of how much can Reason gain and how much can they prevent from Morsu. Kuban teleports up the top lane. It's exactly what they need, but it does buy LowLandLions teleport advantage.
Yeah, so they lost the tower for the teleport advantage, so now they have a window in which they may be able to do something with it, but it's about identifying what they can do with that teleport. Zio in the jungle is able to get a nice pink core, 2 minutes for the Dragon, and Zio will take this opportunity to take the Rift Scuttler as well while he's at it. So everyone is approaching these big, strong points. Kyrie lands the spear onto Zio. Little dangerous to jump on him there. Doesn't know where the rest of the team is, as their vision control is denied from the opposing jungle of Reason Gaming. It's all around their own jungle, defensive ward, and around the Dragon.
But what Reason have full control of, this topside jungle where Morsu is right now, they know exactly where LowLandLions are around this blue buff. So in the event that Dragon comes up, Reason can take it very quickly again. And honestly, that first Dragon steal out by Kyrie from LowLandLions is going to hurt Reason a lot more than you'd expect it to. Because if Reason get the next Dragon and go up to 2-1, they should have been 3-1, and their comp would still be fairly relevant when it comes to that time of 5th Dragon around that 36-minute mark. But in this game, they now have to drag it another 6 minutes. You're looking at 42, 45 minutes. And that is not where a Corki is going to succeed. And Irelia needs a perfect engage to continue that, so it really is going to punish Reason Gaming.
Yeah, and Kozq is just going to be as strong as ever. He's just going to continue to get stronger. Morsu is Jax, and late game Jax is a horror by itself. So LowLandLions, the longer this game goes on, they will be in pretty good standings. This game, we said it before, I'm going to say it again, it's even. Reason Gaming are ahead currently. They are around 4,000 gold ahead, which is significant. It's around a big item, but of course it's split amongst the members. Do also have the map advantage in terms of turrets. Kuban trying to get the engage, but doesn't quite have enough damage to one-shot the backline of minions, so kind of awkwardly loses the cooldown on that and can't close the gap with LowLandLions. So Dragon is now spawning, and we'll see who comes out ahead. Reason Gaming, of course, will be the ones to try and start it.
I feel like I'm kind of like an automated stack updater here, because another thing we've got to keep track of is the aspect of the Serpent. Cassiopeia's passive, which of course is going to, oh, we'll forget about that. Morsu's in trouble.
Yeah, we'll catch back up to that in a second, because Morsu does use Counter-Strike, but while he's able to dodge a couple of auto-attack, there was a black shield on Celeber, so there's no stun. There's the ultimate, doesn't land on to take from, but he's got so much sustained damage. Lulu tries to go head-to-head against the Snake. That does not end nicely. Libic in the bot lane aggresses, and there is the ultimate coming in. The Glacial Fissure. Kuban comes into the fight. It's now 3 versus 2. Kyrie should be dropping. Celeber standing there, getting the damage down. Visibility, that's a big crit. Hybrid is the only one to go 1 versus 2 if he wants to. He has to retreat back to his turret. So a 2 for 2 overall. And Zio is pushing the top lane, but Kozq's pushing the mid.
Man, this is just all over the map is this game. You can see Celeber's damage is still so huge with that BT alongside the Trinity Force at middle lane. Aspect of the Serpent really just completely paying off. He's getting so much lifesteal, so much cooldown reduction and damage from that passive that CosQ has been stacking. He is now finally to get around to it at 320 stacks on that, so he's doing pretty well. Let's take
a look at it again.
Another look, because a lot happened here. So Celevan catches out Morsu here on the map. This is before the mid lane trade as well. So Morsu was an easy kill. Robin's already pushing up, and I believe we're actually going straight back into the game.
Present time, yeah. Okay.
We'll digest that as this game goes.
We'll take a second. Okay,
so Dragon is up.
Yeah, what just happened was CosQ did get caught in the mid lane there. Now Reason Gaming will go for the Dragon themselves. We saw that as an objective, but both the teams didn't use that to fight over. Hybrid here does get caught in the jungle. They'll try and go for him. He will flash over the wall, but that's all they need because Celevar and Zayo are able to two-man the Dragon. So this will be the second Dragon of the game, but as you mentioned before, they are now, of course, not trying to get to the spike. They're not going to get to the spike when they wanted to. It's going to be delayed a little bit.
Exactly. That 5th Dragon spike is going to be later into the game, but you can see still that Reason Gaming's composition is still able to get these picks, still able to get the fights against LowLandLions, and it's such a close game right now. Although it maybe isn't reflected in the gold lead that Reason Gaming have, there is so much on the side of LowLandLions that has just become apparent. Because to that point, Blade of the Ruined King just completed on Jax. That's a key item spike. You can see another needlessly large rod, or a needlessly large rod picked up on Cassiopeia, going towards the Rabadon's death cap. Reason Gaming cannot underestimate the damage in the next fight the LowLandLions are going to have.
Yeah, it really is reaching a boiling point, and very similar to what we saw on Tuesday, where the teams were very even, traded lots of fights back and forth. This kind of just exemplifies that with these compositions who hit those big spikes. And Reason Gaming, can they maintain the current advantage? Because it's an advantage, and they are ahead, but it is slight when you look at the overall scheme of things. In the top lane as well, you know, we've been talking about how this game has kind of been revolving around them. Kuban and Morsu, they're both hitting that stage where they have hit those two items, but Morsu does have the slight upper hand. I say slight, 40 CS is kind of a big deal. But that being said, Kuban has 3 kills as well.
40 CS sounds very similar to the 45 CS that Morsu is normally ahead by on his lane opponent at the end of the game because of his split pushing. And what is Morsu doing? He's down in the bottom lane. He's going to try and fight Kuban. Zayu is here, though, so this isn't a fight that Morsu can win.
It isn't. He tries to use the counter-strike here, is dodged out of the way by Kuban and Zayu, now trying to wait for those cooldowns. 5 seconds left on that counter-strike, has 1 more second left on his leap strike to try and get away from this. We do have Take Fun in the mid lane. Will he be blocked off by CosQ, though? The answer is no. Whimsy is able to get him away, but it's just trying to chase them down. Maybe CosQ is able to pick up a kill here, as Take Fun is taking so much damage. Kyra comes in from the side, lands the Javelin, there's the takedown as well. Bot lane, eventually Morsu was taken out, but it was a long, long chase, and now we do have Zayu separated from the back, and so is Kuban.
Kuban is just playing distraction here. Look at the top side. Look at the top lane as well. Morgana and Corki pushing up to an inhibitor tower. This would be a fatal blow. Graves has to ult to try and save it. He doesn't have the damage to completely save this, especially with Kuban. He teleports over. They get an inhib tower as well. They're going to get an inhib.
He defends the last minion using his teleport, and they are able to take the turret. Down goes the inhibitor as well. Such a good play by Reason Gaming. They were able to just bait out those 2 people following him and take the top turret and utilize the teleport. Well, superb play.
It's exactly what Reason Gaming needed. They knew they were running out of time with their composition, and now LowLandLions, they cannot split push. They have to have somebody stay there in the base and defend that lane or risk a 3 versus 4, 3 versus 5 fight, and that is not something the LowLandLions are willing to do in this setup. And man, that is going to be a big, big play out of Reason. That is going to be so huge.
Yeah, right now, what does that mean, though? 8 and 11 in terms of kill, but more importantly, the gold sitting 5,000 gold ahead here. 2 turrets advances to Reason Gaming. They do also have that extra dragon. That will be a couple minutes away. At least over 2 minutes, as I can tell, as there's no timer. But in the mid lane, everyone is starting to group up. We haven't had any plays over Baron yet. That has not even been touched. But the vision has started to accumulate around the area. Teams kind of putting sporadic wards down at the moment.
And that's something Reason Gaming have to be very careful of, and something the Inhibitor will help. Inhib being down in the top lane gives Reason a lot more control over this Baron area. Teleport comes in. This is what they have to be very careful of. Cassiopeia and Jax can do Baron incredibly quickly. Rek'Sai ult comes in. Can they steal?
Will he get the steal? No, he will not. Kyrie manages to get it. Zai will have the flash over the wall. Who will chase? It will be Morsu. He gets him with the lamp to the face. Celever as well to come into the fight, but he gets hit up by the ultimate from Braum. Kozku returns with the damage, and he finds an angry Morsu to get him for the double kill. Kubon now sitting in the bush. He'll be the one-man army, but he just had Take from behind him, giving him the extra damage. But they also find him as well.
My
they
goodness.
get the Baron. They get the 5 kills for 0. Triple kill for Morsu. LowLandLions flip this game on its head.
This is exactly what LowLandLions have been waiting for 30 minutes into the game. Everything built to that moment. The early tier on Kyrie to get them to the late game earlier. The Dragon Steal that delays Reason Gaming's push, and this composition that is exceptionally fast at taking down a Baron. Reason Gaming had no chance. They knew what was coming and couldn't defend it. Look at how fast this Baron is dying at 30 minutes. Zayu desperately tries for the steal. He's milliseconds a little bit late. He didn't get his smite off. And here's Morsu time. This is what Morsu is known for as a top laner. He already gets his first kill and just runs back to the backside of this fight. Celever goes straight into his path. Morsu thinks it's his Christmas, because he's just going to pick up kills left, right, and center. And there is nothing that this Reason composition can do to stop the clean ace.
Yeah, that was just so well played by LowLandLions, replying with their own big play from what Reason did before, telegraphing that big teleport in the top lane. Now Dragon spawning in 10 seconds, and we may see another big fight. Important to note in that last fight, Reason Gaming kind of came in dribs and drabs.
Yeah.
They didn't come in a 5-on-5 fight, and that's where they've been winning historically and just playing the map. We'll see what happens here.
There's a small amount of time that Morsu can't come down. He's no teleport available. This Dragon should go to Reason Gaming, which will be their third, save for a second steal in the game. They have to speed this up. They cannot take this amount of time on Dragon. Morsu is already in the river. They'll get the Dragon, but they're going to lose so much for this if Kozku can engage.
Okay, they managed to get it, but Kozku comes in from the side. He gets evaporated, though. Celeber takes him down, but Zayu will drop. So will Libic as well. They've invested so much on the Cassiopeia, they don't have anything to defend their back line. Takefun again is left alone with one more member, but so many people are low from LowLandLions. This is almost cleanup time for Celeber. Can he go big, or will he go home? Morsu comes in, he picks up the kill. Cairo of the hill on himself. A 3-for-4, very messy fight, but Reason Gaming get the Dragon as well. The third one of the game. Cairo is chasing down Takefun. This could be risky though. Okay, he puts the heal on himself. He should be good to take this one, but it's going to just be how long can Takefun delay him?
I mean, he just has to wait. The mid lane is already pushing up to the Nexus turrets and still 10 seconds left. Kyrie is just stopping Takefun. The flash over the spear.
The flash out of the way
no
from the
mana on Kyrie.
Toss. He still able to use his Cougar form abilities. He takes him out with the takedown. And he gets him eventually. Still has the Baron recall to go back to base. So will Visility, but that was pretty damn good damage control there.
Yep.
Stopping them from really doing more damage to that base. You can see only a bit of damage onto those Nexus turrets.
So, whew, that was a hectic fight. Kyrie knew he had to go aggressive there in Cougar form because of the lack of mana. Even with the T, he'd burned through all of it, which meant he had to hit the W and the E to get the kill. Otherwise, Lulu would have just obliterated him. Ult was very nearly off cooldown as well, but man, I want to drag it all the way back. Reason played with their food for too long in front of that Dragon. That could have been a clean in and out pickup of the Dragon. You cannot spend that much time this late into the game against a Jax and a Cassiopeia. Reason did get their third Dragon of the game, but they lost a fair amount from it. There's damage on the Nexus turrets, and they're not going to get to 5 anytime soon.
Well, Libic has been caught out here by Kyrie, but Zayu comes into the fight. That was very dangerous. Morsu off to the left-hand side, but Takefun and Kubon are there to react if they went in for the fight. And now they'll be able to take their own blue buff. But taking a look at that last Dragon fight as well, Reason Gaming kind of did what they did with the last couple of Dragons, which is have one hand taking the Dragon and use the rest of the team to zone away. But when LowLandLions are right on top of you, you can't afford to do that.
The problem they've got is if they got one hand on the Dragon and one hand defending, Morsu's got both hands on his lamppost, and he's coming straight into the fight here for LowLandLions, and Reason cannot afford for that to happen. Again, mid lane is pushing in towards them. That top lane inhibitor respawned a while back for LowLandLions, so they're not under any kind of danger from that. Baron buff has expired, so their push is a little bit weaker than it should be. However, they still have Nidalee with a lot of poke damage. Rabadon's death cap has been completed, so going full aggression. No defensive stats really available to talk about. And LowLandLions are playing a little bit risky, but the spears are starting to land.
Well, Zayu, as their main form of engage, is sitting off to the left-hand flank. He does have the flash as well for the burrow flash play. Try and get that unburrow onto a squishy target like Cosq, like Facility. We'll see how that works out for them.
Ooh, it's a waiting game, though. Top lane's going to push in towards Reason. LowLandLions have the position. Reason have to go.
They'll try and go for the fight. Morsu comes in with the counter-strike. Doesn't get a stun off, but they do miss the binding as well. Lipic unable to land that one. Kyrie is taking a lot of damage. He's also low on mana from the constant javelins he's been throwing out. Kuban trying to lead the charge. Does have the shield, the whimsy, everything on top of him. Can he close the gap? Gets the jump to the minion using Blade Surge. Now moves on to Cosq as well. Doesn't have the stun. Turns around. Only lands onto the backside of the Aurelia. There's the flash. There's the knockup from Zayu. They may have to just leave Cosq out to dry here, and there's a 55-minute death timer.
55 minutes, man, this game's going to be well over, Pulse. We're 37 minutes into the game, 55-second death timer on Cosq. This game is absolutely crazy. Reason Gaming knew that they had to just force LowLandLions back. The kiting on LowLandLions was not good enough with their ultimates. They missed. Jax has just teleported into the base to get himself an inhibitor. Kuban is here. Kuban cannot do enough here to stop this inhib going down.
I feel like Morsu will win a head-on trade against him, but this is 4 versus 5. Who's going to come out ahead here? Lipic takes so much damage. The chair does not land from Hybrid. Celever as well has the black shield on top of him. Tries to land the spear. Minion waves in the way. Kyrie takes so much damage from the flash for his bomb. Take Fun will also keep up the chase. Meanwhile, the Morsu and Kuban fight still happening.
Reason have to back. They have to get away from this because 7 seconds until Cassiopeia is available. That is Take Fun incredibly low here. And Reason are playing with fire because Morsu can cut them off. Great binding is going to prevent Kyrie so close, but if Morsu comes through the bottom side jungle on red side of the map, he can cut all of Reason off and nobody can fight him this late into the game if LowLandLions still push. However, Baron is coming up. It's a much more worthwhile prize for LowLandLions right now. Yep. They know they can do it quickly. They should get the top inner turret from it as well. Kuban knows what's up. He has to go in to defend.
Yeah, Zayu as well. Okay, he's going to be using his ultimate, so this is 2
there
men.
In time?
Can they do enough? It's dropping so incredible. Can he get a steal? No, he will not. 2 times in a row, and he will also die. He already used the flash on the last engage. There's another Baron for LowLandLions. Not as disastrous as it was last time, though. They only lose 1 men before it, not 5. So they gain another advantage. This game again has swung.
This is every bit as close in objective trading as yesterday's game was. Back and forth. It's quite a sloppy game at the same time. It's not controlled and composed. This is just balls to the walls. Get the objectives and fight.
Yeah, I agree. There's been lots of mistakes, but props to the teams. They capitalize on every mistake that the opponent makes, and that has been what has been creating all these amazing back and forth swings. Morsu, let's take a moment to kind of collect ourselves, because there's the calm before the storm, I feel, Stress.
If there hasn't been a storm already, we're in for a hurricane.
Yeah, that feels like it's the climax is coming for sure. Morsu is still ahead of his lane opponent. There's the 50 CS you were talking about now, ahead of Kuban. We saw, in fact, in the trade in mid lane that Morsu is ahead of Kuban in a one-on-one trade. Everyone is sitting in the top lane.
No, this is not good for Reason. There's nobody there to defend against this push. They get a 4th dragon, but can they get back to defend? Morsu actually no teleport available. They lose 1 turret. If Reason can recall and get themselves in position, they may be able to defend because Morsu won't be with his team any chance. Zayu could look to maybe burrow and unburrow with a big knockup here. They're coming in from behind. Morgana is looking to engage.
4v5.
Reason might be able to get this fight.
Well, Lipic will be jumping in here along with Kuban. Errol goes up in the air. Who will come back down again? Zayu takes some damage, but it's Cosq who's going to be the first to fall. And Morsu was too late to the fight. He doesn't have the teleport. The rest of the team is disintegrating. It's 2 for 1 so far. Hybrid is kiting backwards. Morsu is in the bot lane. 2 people going for him. Kyrie comes in for 1. Looks for the second on on to take Fun. Everyone else has abandoned him. He's sticking down from the Yak. He heals himself somehow. And Morsu is now trading off against Kubon and also Morgana, hitting away at this inhibitor. Now moving in, the minion line has also come in to help him. This is 3 versus 2, and there's nothing they can do. LowLandLions, with the constant swings in this game, somehow managed to pick up the win against Reason Gaming, 22 kills to 17. And my God, Stress, has this been back and forth, but LowLandLions close out this series 1-2-1 in this week. What an amazing game.
My goodness, that was a back and forth game if ever I have seen one. And LowLandLions, I thought maybe Reason could take the fight, and they did. They got the fight win, and then were greedy with only putting 2 people. They knew that Kubon couldn't defend against Morsu on his own. They had to send Libic, and that meant it was a 2-on-2 with a Lulu, and I believe it was Zayu on Rek'Sai against a very, very powerful Nidalee at that late into the game. That was a risky play, but it was a 50-50 out of Reason. They had to stop Morsu. They had to get the kills, and their comp just didn't survive for just long enough in that game.
Yeah, it's the late game Jax problem. Basically is what that game came down to. He was ahead of Irelia. They needed more than one person to deal with him. It meant they were going to be outnumbered, but Reason Gaming did the right play. They engaged 5 versus 4. They actually did very well, but it was just mechanically very good from LowLandLions to actually turn that one around. And over time, all they need to do is hold even, and that means that Morsu will eventually win out because he's Jax.
Morsu's Jax finally rears its head.
Well, the other thing is, Morsu finally gets a top laner that works by itself, where he's ahead of his lane opponent, and it's enough to net his team a win. So the Wukong didn't work out, the Fiora didn't work out, but Jax is the Goldilocks zone.
When in doubt, play Jax for Morsu. I mean, we're probably going to see a lot of Jax bans against LowLandLions in the next games, because that composition, just everything about that game screamed LowLandLions saying, we're going to give 30 minutes of this game over to you. And I know I've said this a few times already, but it worked out. It worked out very well for them. It was touch and go. Reason had some great plays, but LowLandLions in the end coming out with the win.
Well, we need to take a breather.
Yes,
with only one game remaining, we need to take a quick break, but we'll be back in 3.5. Stay tuned for our final game of the day.